Oh, I didn't see you there. Hello, my name is Justin Moyer and I'm from Troop 406. This summer I will be a program director at Camp Lakota. We'd like to welcome you and your family to take a hike with us. To be prepared, please watch the videos from Ben from Troop 342 and Anna from Troop 9342, where they will prepare us the essentials for Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA. Let's go!
Hi, my name is Benjamin Summers. I'm here to talk to you about the Cub Scout 6 Essentials. The number one essential is a first aid kit. You could buy one at a store, or you could make your own, but make sure it has some Band-Aids, some hand sanitizer, maybe even some gloves. The second one is a water bottle. You always want a water bottle while you're hiking or having fun, so you don't get thirsty or dehydrated. The third one is a flashlight, in case you're night hiking or having any fun out in the dark. The next one is trail food. You can make your own, you can buy some at the store. It's really yummy. The next one is sun protection. You can wear your favorite Cub Scout hat, you can have some sunscreen, so you don't get sunburn. And the last one is a whistle. You blow it in case you get lost out in the woods. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anna, and I'm going to talk about the Scout 10 Essentials. So, you should always have a pocket knife so you can whittle for fun, or you can cut rope for like your tent or something. And then you should always have rain gear, so if it starts to rain, then you have rain gear because you never know when it's going to rain. And then you have your trail snack, which you can make your own, or you can just buy some at the store. And then you have your flashlight, so if you decide to hike in the dark or play any games in the dark, you have your flashlight so you know where you're going. And then extra clothes, so like if you get really cold, then you can add clothes on so you don't stay cold. And then you have your first aid kit, which you can buy your own, which has pretty much everything you need. And then you can make your own, which has bandages, gloves, and hand sanitizer. And you can add anything else you need. And then you have sunscreen and a hat for sun protection. You have your compass and map for if you get lost. And this has a compass on it, and it's also a whistle in case you get lost. And then you have matches in here, which are waterproof. And then we have flint and steel, so you can start a fire if you have no matches, or you just feel like using flint and steel. And then you have your water, so you don't get dehydrated and if you're thirsty.
Located on the Ohio-Michigan border, 6 miles west of Pioneer, Ohio, is the quiet, scarcely touched land and lakes of Pioneer Scout Reservation. Pioneer is an outdoor experience at its finest. One of America's newest camp facilities, its lakes, trails, and woods are ideal for camping and fun. Let's take a detailed look at what it's like. All it has to offer: an individual scout, a troop, or a patrol. Better yet, let's spend a few days with them. On Sunday, the scouts arrive at Frontier, the general meeting area. They sign in, change into suits, check in their medical record with the staff, and head for the swimming pool. After a quick shower, they're given instructions, learn the rules and regulations, and are tested for swimming proficiency. Tags are marked according to how well they can swim. One set is kept at the pool, the other at the lake. If it's roughing it and the outdoor life that interests us, Pioneer offers plenty of experience in just that. The camp provides all tents, cots, and cooking utensils. Each camper brings his own personal equipment, sleeping bag or bedroll, and mess kit. Even though the shelter is provided, all equipment has to be carried to the campsite and put to use. Pitching a tent is not as easy as it might look, especially if you're out of practice. But if we don't succeed at first, there are plenty of old-timers to help us out. Ah, what a feeling of accomplishment when the tent is finally up. What could taste better after struggling to put up that tent than a good hot meal? While this one's served by the cooks at the dining hall, the rest of the week will be up to us. On our first day here at Camp Pioneer, we can watch that special bond of camp spirit and community at work, while the scouts, leaders, counselors, and scoutmasters join together in the most familiar and special of ceremonies, the lowering of the colors. After the ceremony, we are free to check out the learning place, known as the Commissioner's Demo, short for demonstration, area. An area where we can take time to learn several different outdoor skills we'll have to know to be able to survive here. We can also sign up for the week's activities here. While we're here, we may join in a log-throwing game, a three-way tug-of-war, just for fun. But seriously, work at knot tying, a must for any building project. And starting a fire by using only a rope and a log, something useful for meals. The evening finds us at a camp-wide gathering. We get acquainted with our counselors, receive instructions, and have time for songs and games before several campfires and a setting sun. Early to Rise finds us with the Pathfinders. This program was designed with the first-year camper in mind. These newcomers will have completed requirements for cooking, camping, hiking, first aid, and swimming skill awards. Better yet, they can then keep up with the veterans. A part of this program shows us how to handle and sharpen an axe, one of the most useful building tools. In another part of the camp, scouts are learning how to make a thick rope by entwining several smaller strands. They then use that rope in lashing together a lookout tower. Outside the camp dispensary, the camp physician explains bandaging and first aid, part of the requirements of a first aid merit badge. A camp doctor is on duty at all times here at Pioneer. He takes off from his practice to spend a week or more volunteering his skills in health and first aid. While we take turns in carrying supplies back to the campsites, others can take a look at what the Activity Challenge Board has to offer. Different opportunities for scouts are offered every day. Today, let's choose the obstacle course. Just look at this course, climbing through tires and pipes. Over rope ladders and bridges and hurdles of all descriptions and sizes. If that doesn't sharpen our skills, dexterity, endurance, and coordination, nothing will. Every afternoon, there's a camp-wide activity for fun. Today, we're back from the obstacle course in time to watch a camp-wide match. Looks something like soccer. Depending on the groups and interests of scouts, scout masters, and counselors, they have all joined in to play basketball, volleyball, softball, or even pool ball. What a game it is with all those players. A nice cold drink of well water sure tastes good after playing that hard. Swimming seems to be one of the most popular activities here at Pioneer. So besides yesterday's qualifying, there's open swim time for fun and relaxing. Time to practice a dive or two. Swimming instruction if you want it, or practicing to make that mile swim later on in the week. Whether it be troop, individual, or staff swim at Pioneer, there's always a lifeguard on duty and an insistence on water safety. Here, the buddy system is in use. No one could say there's not enough to do at Camp Pioneer. Why, this place has such a variety of activities, there's no time to get bored, whatever our interests. Let's walk over to the archery range. Sure enough, target practice is going on. After a week or more here, I'll bet we could come close to a bullseye ourselves. And some instruction on how to fix an arrow is great to know in case one breaks. This morning of our third day, the aquatics department is offering canoeing. The only way to learn how to handle a canoe when it overturns and not panic is to try it ourselves. Besides, swamping a canoe is fun too. Camp is also offering rifle practice today. That red flag means the rifle range is in use. After a week of target practice for accuracy with special instruction by counselors and scoutmasters, we might become marksmen ourselves. A special added attraction. Scouts at Pioneer get to practice trap shooting too. After a morning full of individual learning, we could sit back and watch another all-camp activity, except for, what's that? The sound of the fire bell. The fire bell sounds danger, and quickly a bucket brigade is formed. Practice is in case the real thing might happen, an outdoor fire drill. When the fire is doused, why not string up a line between the bulldozer and dump truck, hang on a target, and aim the hoses for a glorious, wet, muddy, slippery game of water ball. After the fun and games are over, a man gets kind of hungry. First, we have to go get our supplies at the PX. We check our list to make sure they are all here. Back to camp we go. Fire up the stove for batter fried fish. Clean the vegetables. Ladle out the soup. Say grace. And now we can eat. It sure tastes good cooked outdoors. Don't forget those dishes. Water has been boiling over a specially built fire. And in the evening, when the campsite is tidied up and the embers are glowing, we sit before the fires talking over the good times of the past few days, telling stories and enjoying the outdoor life. Up before the sun on our 4th day here at Pioneer gives us time to do some quiet fishing out on the lake. But for some of us, the best of water sports is sailing. What freedom! As the sail fills and the boat glides across the lake. While we watch the sailboats, look closely. The practice paid off. A number of scouts are out there completing their mile swim, while a lifeguard watches the whole scene from his perch high above the ground in his hand-lashed lookout tower. After all the practice in just plain camp cooking, the scouts are ready for advanced lessons. At the demonstration area, we make use of paper bags to cook our bacon and eggs. Uh-oh, we lost one. It's not as easy as it might look. Pancakes, donuts, and a beautiful pineapple upside-down cake. Not quite like Mom makes, but when you're hungry, who compares? The PX, the Post Exchange, is the one place where scouts, counselors, and scoutmasters alike can relax and keep in touch with the rest of the world. Very like a general store, here they can enjoy the comforts of home, or even make a phone call to friends or family. In the evening, a very special event, the highlight of the week, is about to take place. To the beat of the tom-toms, across the lake paddle the Indians, their torches lighting up the sky. And they land the canoes, stopping at a sacred place on the bank. There, the Order of the Arrow is performed. This ritual of Indian heritage has a tapping out ceremony, whereby new members are accepted into its society. Watch as the ancient Indian dances and chants are passed on, as all join in the dance. We are privileged to witness the high point of the ceremony. A fire hoop dance performed by one young Indian lights up the entire area. and then he and his fire hoop fade into the darkness. In the morning light, as we watch the canoes coming down the river, we can almost hear the echoes of the drums, the remembrance of last evening's ceremony. But today, instead of carrying torches, these scouts are learning how to master the rapids, even if it means getting out and safely maneuvering the canoe. Well done. They've put into practice the lessons learned and carefully landed on the bank. After a couple of days at the tame sports, let's take a look as the scouts begin to take on more difficult programs. Cliff rappelling, for one, looks easy when you're standing on top, but it takes instruction, strength, endurance, ropes, safety straps, and rappelling equipment to do it safely and correctly. But what a special feeling, coming down that cliff on your own. Speaking of harder programs, this patrol is starting out backpacking it to the outpost camp. These scouts are ready to put into practice what they've learned. The outpost camp is a group of do-it-yourselfers. No loafing or luxury of the PX found here. They do it all like the pioneers used to. A log cabin is raised from the splitting of logs to the last handmade shingle on top. Arrowheads are fashioned just like the Indians used to make. The real test out here is survival. All that the survival campers are allowed to take is raw hamburger and flints and steel. It is up to each individual scout to find a way of cooking his meal and making his shelter by whatever means available. Others at the outpost continued on in the pioneer tradition and with more modern conveniences prepared their feast by grinding corn for meal, innovatingly stirring their stew with a rowing oar, milking a cow for their beverage, and even mixing dough and adding peaches for a cobbler dessert. A lot easier than cooking raw hamburger on a rock, and a lot tastier was this meal. But it looks like both groups learned a lot from their cooking experiences. The morning sunlight streams through the stained glass windows of the outdoor chapel, a place of solitude and retreat anytime. The trees are hauntingly quiet. If we listen, we can almost make out the echoes of song sung around a campfire, smell the smoke and food cooking for dinner. Hear the sound of a paddle splashing as a canoe glides down the St. Joseph River. Our days at Camp Pioneer may not have changed the trees or trails, lakes or wildlife here, but we are the better, wiser, healthier, and happier for having had the opportunity to watch the scouts, counselors, and scoutmasters learn the skills, experience the sports, gain their awards, and have the fun of living totally outdoors among the beauties of Pioneer.